Okay, sorry for delay, a little bit delay from our first part of the session. Our second half of a webinar would be our feature school, which is IFM, Institut Français de la Mode. And we have Miss Delphine and Betty here with us tonight. And they will bring us what will be the feature and the highlights to study at IFM. Let's welcome them.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm looking forward to this session. My name is Delphine Wharmby, and I'm Director of Marketing and Communications at Institut Français de la Mode, IFM short. And this is Betty. She's our community manager, handles all the social media at IFM, and she happens to be from Taiwan. Yes. So she will be able to answer some of the questions, maybe even in Chinese. Unfortunately, I don't speak Chinese, so I will do this session in English. So I thought it would be good just to give you a general overview of what our school is about, because it could be slightly different from what other schools have been doing, fashion schools over the world. So this is our name, Institut Français de la Mode. And Institut Français de la Mode is actually the reunion of two schools that existed before. One is called École de la Chambre syndicale de couture parisienne, very long name. This chamber of couture parisienne is actually now part of the Federation of Haute Couture in Paris, and that's the institution that organizes all the fashion weeks, the Paris Fashion Weeks. So they had a school created in 1927, so very, very old. And this school was about training people to work in the atelier, the workshops of the fashion houses in Paris, because there was a very specific way of sewing garments, etc., that is done in haute couture atelier. And so this was mainly what this school was about, is training these people who would work in these ateliers. After that, they created also a fashion design program, bachelor's level. And so you've got some of the people who did that program many years ago for some of them, like Yves Saint Laurent and Karl Lagerfeld, although he did not complete the whole course, but anyway, still. And so the other school is IFM, Institut Français de la Mode, and that was created in 1986, mostly by Pierre Berger, who was the partner of Yves Saint Laurent, and also the Ministry of Economy in France, and the federations of fashion generally, so all the professionals. And the idea was that in France, people working for fashion companies, meaning mostly people handling offers, communications, marketing issues, finances, etc. They used to come from regular business schools or even engineering schools in France, because that's the way education is done. But they had no knowledge of fashion itself, of its cycles, of the importance of the product itself, the life cycles of products, etc. So they thought, oh, this is really wrong. So we're going to create a fashion management program. And that was one of its kind, first time in France, to train these people who've got very good education, but don't actually know about fashion. And we're going to train them for 1 year, very intensively, and do that. So we're sort of like the inventors in France of fashion management education. And after that, we decided to have also a fashion design program, but master's level, and other programs that I'll talk about. So mostly, as you see, the alumni from IFM, old IFM, are mostly people who are CEOs or have very senior positions in fashion companies. And so we decided to merge these two schools together, and we kept the name Institut Français de la Mode because we believe that says it all in a way. And this is a picture of the press conference that we held 2.5 years ago. And that is the Minister of the Economy in France. And behind him are all the CEOs of big fashion companies. You see the CEO of LVMH Fashion, CEO of Saint Laurent, of Hermes, of Chanel, and they're all behind him. And so the idea was to make a school that would be big enough to challenge all the other brilliant fashion schools all over the world and make it sort of a flagship of fashion education in France. So that's what we've been working on. So this is a little bit about our accreditation. So we are a non-profit higher education. We're private but non-profit. And we are supported by the Ministry of the Economy in France and also the Ministry of Higher Education. We're part of a bigger university called ESM. And this is basically what we have to offer. So we are a fashion school, so we provide educational programs, undergraduate, graduate, even a PhD program in different areas that I'll explain later. We have a lot of apprentices, so these are programs only in French. We have a lot of programs for professionals as well, so that's the executive education section of what we do. We have summer school programs, either physically on campus or online. And we have research activities because we've got a lot of professors who do research and publish articles and books. We have an economic observatory that looks at what's happening in the fashion industry today. And we've got a brilliant library on our campus. And this is actually on a picture of our new campus because we have like a huge building on the River Seine. You can't really see it from here, but this is the River Seine behind us. And we just finished renovating 8,000 square meters inside Paris with brand new workshops, studios for our students, obviously lecture theatre, classrooms, which is this one, a photo studio, so you see the river here, a knit workshop, fab lab, leather workshop, etc., etc. It's a brand new campus, completely new, with new equipment in it. And so these are the three pillars of what we provide as education here. We have fashion design, so these are the programs to become a fashion designer. We have all the management programs that I talked about. I mean, all the people who want to work in fashion but are not actually themselves fashion designers, but are interested in fashion, have strong creativity, but are not designers. And then the people we call savoir-faire, so these are craftsmanship technical programs. And these can be about pattern making and sewing, etc. And these are people who are also very creative, but they want to make things really, not like design them, but actually make them. And so we've got all three populations of students here on campus. So if I go to the fashion design program, so we have a 3-year bachelor of arts program. So this is for approximately 100 students who come in. There is a French track and an English track, so you can decide to study completely in English, or if you know French, you can also do it in French. And the idea is just like, as in all the other schools, develop your own style, but also what's really important is there's a very strong technical approach to things. So we believe that our fashion designers must learn how to make things the right way. And so they actually have a lot of work, technical work on their collections. And then we have a 2-year master programs in fashion design, Master of Arts, and we have different specializations. So once they've got the ground of becoming fashion designers, then they come here to specialize either in fashion design, meaning menswear, women's wear, or knitwear, because we have a very strong program in knitwear here with particular equipment and a great professor. And we have accessory design as well. So we train people to become either footwear or leather goods designers. So they do shoes and bags, basically. And then we have a fashion image program. And that's for people who want to become artistic directors in fashion magazines or do styling, or even what's it called, the window dressing of this shop. Visual merchandising is the word I was looking for. Fashion photography. We had one of the students who won a prize at the Year Fashion Festival last month, or last 2 weeks. And so we've got about 70 students per year, and 80% of them are not French. They come from all over the world, and you'll see this in all of our programs. We recruit people from absolutely everywhere in the world: Latin America, Asia, very, very diverse. And then we've got a one-year program, intensive program. So this is mostly for people who have done already fashion design, have some techniques, and want to specialize more on the technical aspect of pattern making plus design. But that is a program in French. Then if I come to the management section of our programs, we've got a bachelor in fashion management. So this is also, it's a program that's in English. People can choose, I don't know why the name is in English, it's in French, sorry about that, mistake. But the program is definitely in English. So it's called the BSc Management in Fashion and Creative Industries. So it's a bit wider than just studying fashion management. We also touch on gaming or cinema or whatever other industries where creativity and creation is very important. And so this is a 3-year program after high school. And then we've got a 1-year master's program. Actually, we've got 2 programs. One is in French, 1 year, and the other is in English. So the MSc in International Fashion and Luxury Management. So these are people who want to be in marketing, retail, communications, etc., business in general. And so this is highly international as well. 70% not non-French, it's all in English, 1 year or 2 years, depending on your profile. So if you've got a 3-year bachelor's degree, you can do the 2 years. If you've got a 4-year bachelor's degree, you can do just 1 year. And then we've got for professionals an executive MBA in global fashion management, and that's in partnership with FIT in New York and Hong Kong Polytechnic University. And then I'll just mention this briefly because these are all programs that are only in French, and these are sandwich courses, so apprenticeship programs. So you work in an atelier, a fashion company, and you do your studies here as well. So these programs to about sewing, draping, pattern cutting, etc. So very, very technical, but all in French. And so if you have a look at the numbers, this has actually gone up slightly this September, but approximately 1/3. We've got more fashion designers, but approximately 1/3 in each of these sections that I mentioned. Now, briefly, we also have a program for people who want to start their own businesses in fashion. So this is a 6-month program for fashion entrepreneurs. This is a program that supports young brands. So some of them you may know about, like Jacquemus or Marine Serre or Vêtements. They came to our program and we help them to boost their business. And so we provide them with coaching, advice on the areas that they feel they need help with. So finance or communication work. Then the summer school programs that might be interesting for some of you. These are either for high school students or university level students, or even anyone who's interested. We've got courses in all of the areas that I talked about, so fashion management, fashion design, and savoir-faire technical courses. Some of them are online, some of them are on campus, some of them are both, you can choose. And these are 1 or 2 week courses during the summer that you can join with no specific requirements. We also have online courses. So we have 2 certificate courses that you can choose to do on the platform FutureLearn. And on FutureLearn, we have 2 courses, fashion business and the IFM Caring Fashion Sustainability course. So this is completely online that you can do on your own time. It costs about £500. Or you can have a free course, which is the Understanding Fashion from Business to Culture, and that's open to everyone, and you can do it whenever you like. Whereas the certificate courses actually have sessions because you get ECTS credits, etc. This is probably not for you, but we have like very strong executive education activity with lots of programs, either custom design programs for companies themselves or open to anyone. And this is our alumni association, very active. So they hold loads of events across the world. They have chapters in America and Asia, etc. Very, very active. And this is a very tight community of people who are passionate about fashion and, you know, want to get together even when they've left campus. And this is our foundation. We're very, very proud of that. So we have a foundation that helps us provide scholarships for students so that the students who are not able to pay for their tuition fees can do so. I must say that the scholarships are only for European students with European nationality, but it's part of a strategy of being diverse and open to everyone. And the mission is also to support research and teaching. So for instance, we have 2 chairs, one with caring about fashion sustainability that led to a certificate course on campus and online, the one I was talking to you before. And also there is a new teaching and research chair with Chanel about savoir-faire in fashion. So craftsmanship, to promote craftsmanship and make it modern and innovative as well. And so this is also something we do, is promote innovation in our programs so that people can learn about product virtualization, the digital metaverse or whatever, these issues in fashion that are very, depend on technology. We also have the foundation supports that. And so these are some of the companies, because we've had more join lately, but some of the companies that support IFM every year and give money to fund these scholarships and innovation and research programs. So you see that there are a lot of the big names of luxury, but not only. You've got startups, you've got people in sportswear, you've got communication agencies, and so it's very diverse. And this is something that's very important here at IFM, is that we are very, very close to the industry in Paris. All of our students find internships in most of these companies, but others as well. And so we're very, very connected. We've got lots of case studies. Companies bring in their actual real life cases and work with the students, whether it be a design process or a management issue. I don't know, marketing plan or something, and they come to us with these real life issues, and our students work on them. So that's very, very important to know that we're highly connected to the fashion industry in France. And I think that was it. So thank you for listening. I hope that wasn't too long. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
So first of all, how competitive of each year's selection?
Yeah, we're quite selective. Well, Betsy is actually an alum from our school. She did the MSc in Fashion and Luxury Management program, so she might talk about her experience. It's true that we tend to take on, I would say, 1 in 5 people, and our selection process is quite hard, but we're looking for talents. So we don't have like specific boxes, you know, or pathways that you're meant to do before you join IFM. We're very open. Students have done loads of things, but they have to be talented in what they do. So if they're fashion designers, they have to come in with a very strong portfolio to prove, you know, that they have a creative identity that's really strong and interesting. And or technically, if we talk about the craftsmanship programs, they have to be really strong technically and very smart when they're doing the management program, and very creative. It's true we're selective, but it's not impossible to join.
Only Ashley.
I'm gonna add something in Chinese, maybe. 我申请的是国际的奢侈品管理学位，在我们班当时就是大家都是从世界各地来的，所以每个人的学士就大学的时候其实念的主修其实都很不一样，有纯 business 的，有念兽医的，有念fashion design 或是 graphic design， 有各种各样的背景，但其实大家就是要有非常强的动机，就是你接下来想要做什么，然后确定这个方向之后，其实真的是不管你以前是不是只是在 fashion， 这个硕士的管理学位是一个非常好的下一步的比较专精的一个跳板，所以文件一定要准备好，就是要非常清楚知道说自己要什么，然后一些额外的补充，比方说用什么样的方式去让你的动机更明显的显示出来，不是只是文字而已。比方说有没有在大学期间有参加其他的一些进修坊啊，或者是特殊的活动什么？我觉得这些大家都可以，就是现在就可以开始考虑怎么样让你的文件更出色，然 后更着。
OK， 没问题，谢谢那个 Betty 补充。So let's move on. So you mentioned like for example in fashion, there will be like a specific number of each program. So I have a question here is that will you select only one candidate from the same region? I believe it's like geographical region, but no, you have a percentage like probably 30% of the French people or 70%
No, that,
international.
yeah, sorry. No, these were statistics based on what's happening today, but we have no quotas. We take people from wherever they come from and we take the best, and we don't look at where they're from. But it's true that we would, some schools are happy to have a cohort, a large cohort of one nationality in their programs.
Right.
We feel this is not really what we want to do.
Right.
And we value diversity, really.
Right.
And so we would be uncomfortable having too many students from one area. But in fact, it auto-regulates, you know, it never happens, in fact, because, you know, there are only so many talented students across the world. And so we've never had that problem, but we don't have quotas. There might be one year with a lot of people from Taiwan, and then one year where there were fewer,
right.
You know,
it really depends.
But no quota.
我觉得 IFN 的好处就是你真的可以找到所有 profile 的人，所以你在这个很国际化的环境里面，你感觉是舒服的。你可以真的就是，尤其大家要需要，不管是 design， 不管是 management， 你要需要做很多的project， 就是一起做。所以就是你真的可以找到各式各样的不同的背景、不同的文化、不同思想方式的人一起去合作。我觉得这件事是 IFN 非常珍贵的地方，然后不会只有某种语言或是某种特定地区，就是这个是我们不考虑的。
了解。对，这校园是非常国际化跟多样性的，充满多样的地方，所以不会因为说什么国籍或是亚洲同学就多少，然后美洲同学多少，欧洲没有这样子的。刚刚那个在画面上看到只是一个他们统计的数据而已。All right. So since you have two kind of master program, one will be the regular 2 year, and the other one will be the intensive 1 year. Is it easier to apply for 2 year than the 1 year one program? Or it depends?
So that's only for fashion management, because in fashion design, it's only 2 years and you have to do the 2 years.
Right.
I didn't mention, but the people from the masters in fashion design, they work on their personal collection that they showcase at the end of their studies after 1.5 years, let's say. And this work is presented during Paris Fashion Week. So this is really exceptional. So the level of our students is good enough to be in the official calendar of the Paris Fashion Week that started last year. So they do 1.5 years, and then they have a 6-month internship. So these are the fashion design master students. For the fashion management, we have a 1-year program that's called Master Spécialisé that is only in French. So if you don't speak French, you cannot apply. So that's one thing. Very intensive. Most of the students already have a master's degree and do 1 year on top of that. Very, very selective as well. And then we've got our MSc program. And so that's either 1 or 2 years, but it really depends on your profile. So if you've got a 3-year undergraduate degree, you will have to do the 2 years to complete to have it 5 years altogether. And if you've done 4 years of a bachelor's degree, then you can do just 1 year. And in fact, the first year is really about discovering the fashion products. So you will go and actually do yourself as well, but you will discover jewelry, you will discover obviously fashion garments, you will discover, they're discovering accessories as well, shoes and bags, perfumes. They go to a school, a perfume school in France, and they discover, so obviously there are lots of business courses, regular business courses, but on top of that, the emphasis is really on discovering the product and going through all of these fashion products and doing it yourself. So you will actually make like a purse or something if you're studying leather goods, or make your own perfume and learn from a nose, etc. And then the second year is really sort of the equivalent of the French program in specialized really in fashion management. And you learn all about fashion management and luxury. So you don't actually really have a choice. So there's no easier way of coming in. It just depends on your profile.
Right. Perfect.
基本上说台湾的话，如果是大学毕业，如果是4年的大学毕业的话，基本上就是直接念的是1年制的management 管理。所以这真的就是看你的大学制。那台湾来讲的话，应该基本上都是以1年为主。design 的话是2年嘛，但是如果是 management 的话，就不用去念第1年的备修班。
Okay. Perfect. Well, you had to mention some element for qualification. Probably we can. I think this audience is interested in massive fashion. What will be the qualification or the document you need to submit?
Okay, so for the Masters in Fashion Design, obviously you need to provide your portfolio. So this means things that you've already done yourself in the specialization that you're applying for. So if you're applying for accessories, you will be asked to provide proof that you've done it before in some way. And the main thing that we look at is your creative identity. So your portfolio should show what you're interested in, what's your universe, you know, what are your references, and to see that, you know, you have something to say, because it's a means of expression, fashion. So we have to feel that you have something interesting in your personality or your work that comes across and you know, says, oh, that is interesting. You know, we see potential. So that's very interesting. That's very important. Sorry. Obviously, the application file has lots of also sort of motivation questions, etc. We will ask you to provide your grades and proof of diplomas before, so that we can check that you've really had a degree in fashion before. Although we do make exceptions, it is possible. So if you're very talented and you still want to apply, I encourage you to apply. And then if you go through all this and your application file is selected, then you will go into an interview with the professors in charge of the specialization you're applying for. And you will be asked to discuss your work and, you know, the way you do things and maybe your inspirations and stuff. So it's quite standard as a way of selecting students.
All right. And what will be the next deadline for probably next intake?
So that depends on the programs that you're applying for. We are opening our applications sort of now. We started with the bachelor's in fashion management. For fashion design programs, these will be open as of January. So you can apply in January to enter in September. And so please check our website for specific program application dates, because they are different from one program to the other. But usually we have about 3 sessions a year to apply. We encourage students, especially when they're coming from Asia or, you know, outside Europe, let's say, to apply early, because then you have the visa processing delays that can make it difficult for students to actually be here in September, early September. So don't wait till the last minute, because that could be a problem for some students, especially nowadays.
随时一定要就是看网站上面的资讯，就虽然有3次，但是真的希望大家就是越早开始准备越好，这样的话就不会 delay 到后面的行政程序，尤其法国的行政程序就真的需要一些时间，所以就是这样大家就不会太慌张到最后1秒。
还有可能还要准备，像签证的申请等等也都需要时间。
主要是签证，然后开始不要签证。
Okay. Aside from the teaching language, like you have a French track, an English track, what will be the main difference between the Master in Management, Fashion Management, and MSc International Fashion, in international? Hold on.
Fashion and luxury management. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, the MSc in International Fashion and Luxury Management versus the specialized master in the, well, yes, the languages are different. So for sure, if you don't speak French, you cannot do the master spécialisé, the specialized master. You have to do the MSc. The MSc is definitely more international in its approach to fashion, whereas the specialized masters will be maybe a bit more turned into the way things are done in France or in Europe. So it's a wider perspective on things, but basically they're pretty much the same in what you actually learn, I would say. The idea is just that if you want to learn in a hugely diverse group of international students, definitely the MSc is the place to go. If you would prefer to be with French students, do something like more turned into the way things are done in France, then do the specialized master.
So like these programs, they do projects together.
Yeah.
So they actually exchange a lot. So you wouldn't miss, like if you're in the international class, you wouldn't understand French. That doesn't happen here. That you talk to each other, you do projects together, and you have common professors also. So I would say really depends on your further goal in life.
Also, something that I didn't mention, but it reminds me of that, is that our students, the fashion designers and the fashion management students, they work together in workshops that we organize for them so that they get to know each other and work on actual projects several times during their studies. So that's really new, because usually when you're studying fashion business, mostly you're in business schools, so you're with other management students. And if you're in a fashion school, then you're mostly studying fashion design and you don't really see any business students. Exactly. Whereas here we mix them together and we make sure that they actually work together on projects. So that's quite interesting, I think.
We have another audience is probably planning to apply IFM and EEFT, the double degree through SAI. Would they have lower chances to get accepted if they apply through the SAI?
So I think you mean the ESCP Business School double degree program that we have with the MSc. Yeah. So we're really lucky to have that. So ESCP Business School is the top three, one of the top three business schools in France. And so we have a double degree agreement with them for the MSc in International Fashion and Luxury Management program. So the way it works is either you're an ESCP student, so you have to be accepted by ESCP to their Masters in Management program. So you get into that program. And then in your first year, you will apply to do the double degree with IFM. And you get selected by ESCP as one of the students that they will present to us IFM. And then we will also approve the person. Or you can apply through IFM, meaning that you will send your application to IFM saying that you want to do the double degree. And in that case, we will take you on, and then we will send your profile to ESCP so that they can also approve, and you will do the 2 years, first year ESCP and second year at IFM. And you get both proper degrees at the end, meaning the Masters in Management Grande École program of ESCP and the MSc International Fashion Luxury Management degree at IFM.
Does it matter? Does it affect the acceptance if they apply through SAI? I believe SAI is only for the business school, like the ESCP part.
Yes, yeah. You can't do it to get into IFM, but you can do it to get into ESCP.
For the Master in Fashion and Luxury Management, do you require applicant to have working experiences?
No, not at all. No, obviously it's a plus.
Right.
I mean, the idea is to show that you really have a career plan for the future related to fashion. So imagine you're a student who's done already an undergraduate degree in business or whatever. And by the way, we welcome people who've done all kinds of studies, law, languages, history, sociology, maths, whatever. We welcome everyone, engineering. But anyway, let's say you've got a 3-year undergrad degree and you have never done an internship, never done a project in fashion, never shown any interest in fashion at all, then we will question your motivation to work in fashion. We will think, oh, that is very strange, you know, because even if you haven't had the opportunity of actually working in the fashion industry, if you're really motivated and want to work in fashion, I'm sure that you've done projects, freelance work, whatever, something related to fashion. It is possible to have like absolutely no experience whatsoever, professional experience, but you will have to find a way of balancing that out with, you know, motivation, some way of expressing your motivation to work in the fashion industry. Because you're not here to study fashion as a hobby. You're here to get a job after you finish. So this is really important to have in mind. Yeah, and you don't necessarily need to know when you come in exactly what your job will be at the end, because also the opportunities that you'll find here will make you change your minds, and then you'll say, oh, actually, I didn't know that supply chain was so interesting, and I'm going to go into that. So your career plans can change. That's no problem. But we have to feel that you're driven, you know, that it comes from, you know, deep inside, and that you're actually, your life is geared towards that. That's the main thing.
All right. So speaking of job, does IFM provide any support in finding jobs or their internships and so on?
Yes, we have a very strong career team who help students find their internships and their jobs.
Right.
They do one-on-one coaching, CV sessions, writing a letter, blah, blah, blah. One-on-one advice on your, you know, oh, what's your plan, what you do. So that's one thing. They organize loads of events, online or on campus, where we use that network of companies that are so close to us, and we invite them on campus and we say, okay, what are the internships and the jobs that you have currently? And then we organize career fairs or networking events with these companies so that students can come and talk to the companies and get their jobs. What else do we do? And then obviously the student has to find their jobs or internships themselves. We do not do that for them, because we believe that it's a great exercise for the future, because once you graduate, you will have to go and find a job and change jobs probably during your career. So it's very good, you know, to teach you how to do it, how to go and get these jobs. Oh yeah, the other thing I want to say, we do get a lot of job offers and internship offers. So we've got a database of offers that we give to our students so that they can, you know, see, but they have to apply themselves.
Since like say that you provide an opportunity for them, but they're gonna pay for themselves.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
All right. Since we talked about a double degree just now, for those who applying for double degree, do they have the same chance to get accepted?
Law school, you mean?
For double degree management.
But people who have a law background, is that what you meant?
Oh no, are all applicants, whether they are applying for a single program or they are applying for double degree, are they have the same chance to get accepted?
No. Well, no, but the thing is, you have to realize that there are only 5 spots for the double degree track. Okay, only 5 students every year can get that chance of having both degrees. So obviously you have more chance of getting accepted in only one. But and also obviously you are selected by the 2 schools instead of 1. So you have to make it through both requirements. So it is more difficult, definitely. But you can always, I think, you'll have to check maybe with the admissions person for that program, but I think you can choose to apply for both. You know, I applied for the double degree program, but if I'm not accepted, I still want to do the regular program. That's also possible, so that you can double your chances of getting in.
I see. Cool. All right. So what do you think would be like the highlights, or what makes IFN special from other other school with regards to the field in fashion business. Like for example, there are a lot of like business school in France offering like luxury management and fashion marketing and so on. What would be the special or the advantage of IFM in this area?
Well, I'll let Betty answer that, but I will say that one thing definitely is having under the same roof these three disciplines that I mentioned and working on real life projects with the fashion designers, or making a video with the fashion image students, or doing a performance or something. That doesn't happen in business schools, because every day our fashion management students, fashion business, they are in contact with the fashion designers. They see them designing their clothes, making them. And so they're so close to the product and the way it's done that I don't think you can have that in business schools. You can study it theoretically. You can have like sort of field trips where you go and see what's happening, but not every day for everything that's happening around you. So that's one thing. And I think that's the most important one, is having these three different groups. Also, I think our approach is maybe slightly different, is that we're really centered on the product, the way it's made, the beauty of how it's made, the processes, so everything that has to do with the products, the collections, the way they're presented, etc. That's really important. And the cultural aspect of things, that's mostly different from what might be done in maybe Anglo-Saxon countries, where the approach might be slightly different. But here we use Paris as a way of learning as well. So we have like philosophers come in, we send our students to museums. They are always surrounded by arts and culture, and that is very important here. So I don't know if it's really different from what's happening elsewhere in fashion business programs, but I think it is.
And for me, like not just the three, well, more than the three pillars as we were mentioning before, that for example, our entrepreneurship programs, so that we have all these young designers, so you can really see and get a really strong approach with all these like young entrepreneurs to get, oh, how did you get the whole collection down? And it's a really like unique experience, because for myself, I was choosing like in between like all these fashion schools, even in Paris, that you can really see like at IFN, you have the most complete programs out there in different levels, in different interests, in different profiles, and different cultures. And you really get a whole picture. So when you go get a job, you can really understand like, you know, where do you stand for and what are you looking for. And even though like before you came in that you're like, oh, I want to do visual merchandising. And actually you can hear that after talking to all these like young designers or researchers or different people, like people from supply chain, maybe, that you're open your mind and open your whole perspective to see, oh, I want to do that. This actually speaks more to me. And our career team is really strong. So, and they, like Delphine mentioned, they have one-on-one coaching. So they actually really understand your profile and helping you to get the, you know, the right starting for internship and to get something. So I would say it's a really unique experience to study here at IFN.
Is the applicant of double degree and for normal degree are reviewed together?
I don't know, but I would expect that, you know, it's the same people reading the application file. So yes, I mean, I don't think that your file would be read by two different people here.
So for, is there any like high-end fashion master in IFM?
What do you mean by high-end fashion master?
It's like Ogongdu. Do you have any program in Ogongdu?
Yeah, Haute couture, well, it depends what you mean, because fashion design is haute couture. Our students have a graduate show in the Paris Fashion Week of haute couture. So, I mean, this is haute couture, but for fashion design. Now, if you're talking about haute couture in the sewing process, we don't have anything at master's level. Everything that we do is up to undergraduate, bachelor's level. But we do, it's just that they're in French and that they are all apprenticeship programs. So you need to be able to work have a work contract in France, which means I think that you need to have lived in France for at least 1 year, if not 2. So it's, people outside Europe, it's a bit difficult to get these contracts with the companies.
We still have some questions. I can forward them to you after today's session. I think some of them you might have to email them the details like brochure or even syllabus of the courses later on. It'll be clear instead of like explaining here, but they cannot hear it very well. All right. So thank you for introducing FM for us. I think we have a lot of questions for now.
I just want to add, like, please take a look at our website, like certainly 就随时看IFM 网站上面的资讯，就通常的资讯都蛮完整的。那接下来有其他的问题的话，都可以就是透过 Jake 来email，然后看有什么其他问题。那学生的，因为我是 community manager，所以在学校的真实生活方面，就是要记得 follow IFM Paris 的 Instagram， 然后还有 LinkedIn 社群这些社群网站，我相信都会给大家一个比较扎实的一个准备，就是这个学校到底是什么样子的。
没问题，同学也可以先透过到 FM 的网站跟社群上，先了解你有兴趣的领域跟学程。那我想你可以就是稍微了解说，大概你的背景是不是能够结合，或者说适不适合你申请，然后我们再进一步的可以跟学校联络。那今天同学还没有回答的问题，不好意思，我们可能在收讯方面有点不是很稳定。怕如果线上口头回答的话，其实大家也听不太清楚。那这些问题我们会后都会请学校这边直接跟同学做比较详细的回复。All right, so thank you for joining us tonight and thank you for attending today's webinar. We hope to see a lot of talent next year with you in IFM.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.